Good morning, everyone. My name is James, and I will be your teacher in this marketing course. Welcome to the fifth lesson of Chapter 1 entitled Strategic Demand Analysis, Methods for Forecasting Established and New Products. When it comes to new products, there are no past sales figures to guide us, so we turn to diffusion models. One option is the epidemiological model, which treats adoption like the spread of a contagion. It distinguishes between people who have already bought the product and those who haven't, and assumes that the more buyers there are, the more likely others are to follow. In this model, demand follows a logistic S-shaped curve. The speed of adoption depends on the number of existing buyers, the total potential market, often denoted by K, and the rate of innovation diffusion, represented by the parameter R. Mathematically, if we call the cumulative number of purchases Q of and the market potential Q asterisk, differentiating Q of gives us the number of new buyers at each moment in time. Another approach is the Gaussian dissemination model, better known through the Rogers curve. This model classifies customers according to how quickly they adopt. It starts with precursors who rush to try a new product, followed by innovators who perceive its value, then early adopters who weigh their decisions carefully. Next come the early majority, who are more skeptical, and the late majority, and finally, the laggards. When you add up the contributions of all these groups over time, you get an S-shaped demand curve. In essence, choosing the right forecasting method depends on whether the product is well established or completely new, and on the level of detail and analytical sophistication you require. When it comes to new products, there are no past sales figures to guide us, so we turn to diffusion of innovation models. A common approach is based on an epidemiological analogy, treating adoption like the spread of a contagion. It assumes that the more people adopt a product, the more likely others are to follow through social influence. This process generates a logistic, S-shaped cumulative adoption curve. The speed of adoption depends on factors like the coefficient of innovation, external influence, and the coefficient of imitation, internal influence, as well as the total market potential, often denoted by K. Mathematically, the derivative of the cumulative adoption curve, Qt, gives us the rate of new adoptions at any given time. Another foundational framework is Rogers' Diffusion of Innovations Theory. This model classifies adopters into 5 categories based on their propensity to adopt. It starts with the innovators, the venturesome risk takers, followed by early adopters, respected social leaders, the early majority, deliberate and pragmatic, the late majority, skeptical, and finally the laggards, tradition-bound and resistant to change. The distribution of these adopters over time typically follows a bell-shaped or Gaussian curve. When we plot the cumulative number of adopters from these groups over time, we again see the characteristic S-shaped curve. In essence, choosing the right forecasting method depends on whether the product is well established or completely new, and on the level of detail and analytical sophistication you require. Click like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next lesson.